As they all came outside, Hunter was still laughing at Jeong, and one of them asked how he could fail the Hunter Corp written exam, which was easier than applying for a driving license. They continued walking, making fun, and a lady hunter saw them from behind. After that, they all reached a room where Chio appreciated everyone for coming to celebrate their birthday, including all the examiners. The 105th Division welcomed them, and then the leader introduced himself as the one in charge of overseeing the advancement exams. He emphasized that the objective wasn't just to identify people worthy of promotion, but to foster friendly competition and fairness among the 3 divisions. In the exam, there were members attending based on a special expedition. They included the 104th Division's Private First Class Kim and Private Class Yunseo, despite enlisting less than a year ago. Kim thought there was another person besides him. Chio reminded them that everyone was aware of the 104th Division's reputation and urged them to avoid creating misunderstandings. A hunter guessed that it was true that Kim received special exceptions if he excelled on the front lines with exceptional grades. Another hunter mentioned that there were kids who were offered proposals during their enlistment test, but he heard that all those requests got rejected, especially in the 104th Division. A third hunter added that one of those applicants had already become a private first class. They all discussed Kim's situation. Yunseo glanced back to search for Kim, and when she saw him he looked back at her too, but she quickly turned away. Chio then wished them all the best, and Captain Sang took the lead, announcing that they would start with the strength test, which was straightforward, pushing back the examiner in front of them. Kim wondered about the broken red crystal exam and why all the exams were challenging like that. Sang clarified that they had a time limit of 1 minute and would be evaluated on a 100-point scale, with the highest score given for a 10-meter movement. Those called out would begin the test. Then, the examiner took his position on the line, with a drawn line extending from him to the 10-meter mark. Sang called Jin to step forward. Jin exerted all his strength to push the examiner, but the examiner countered with a slight force from his shoulder, causing Jin to fall back. Sang gave Jin 0 points and declared him disqualified, explaining that anyone scoring below 40 points on that test would automatically be disqualified from the advancement exam. This news worried the others. Sang then called Wonho, who only scored 10 points, and Mijo, who scored 20 points. Both were disqualified. Yuno got 0 points, and Dan got 15 points. They were also disqualified. Next, Sang called Yunseo, who scored 50 points, becoming the first to pass. This astonished the others. One boy commented on her beauty, another asked if she was the division commander's daughter, while someone else attributed her strength to her genes. They discussed her sharp eyes, with one person joking that they'd die if they got too close to her. Kim thought that Yunseo might be the one who received the special exception like him. Sang asked Kim to step forward. Kim hesitated, thinking he shouldn't repeat what he did with the red crystal, but if he managed to push the examiner past the 10-meter mark, he might earn bonus points. With determination, Kim pushed the examiner, and the pressure was intense as the examiner crossed the 10-meter line. The examiner and Sang were shocked, and Sang awarded Kim 100 points. Even Yunseo was surprised. Kim remarked that it seemed there were no bonus points after all. Yuno scored 20 points and was disqualified. After that, the strength test ended, and they proceeded immediately to the agility test without any break. Sang instructed those who were disqualified to leave the room quietly from the rear under the examiner's guidance. Some of the participants were positioned between 2 poles with a green sheet and a machine set at a distance. Kim wondered if they would be asked to dodge bullets. Sang reassured them that these were rubber bullets, but they would still cause pain if hit, so they had to make sure to dodge. Kim found this aspect quite intriguing. Sang explained that a perfect score for the agility test would be given for lasting 1 minute within the designated area inside the net. Although it was called the agility test, they would also acknowledge those who lasted a minute while taking hits if they were confident in tanking them. He outlined the disqualification criteria. Stepping outside the netted area in less than 30 seconds or sustaining severe injuries would result in disqualification from the advancement exams. With that, they began the agility test. Then a friend of Kim's came by calling out to him. Kim was surprised to see him there. The friend asked if Kim was surprised to see him, and if Kim thought he wouldn't qualify the strength test. Kim replied that it wasn't like that. The friend explained that all the private first class had passed the advancement exams once before, so they wouldn't be disqualified from the strength test. The issue was that the overall score standard had become higher for them compared to when they were privates, which was why he had been failing the exams. He also mentioned that the bullets flew as fast as real ones, so Kim didn't have to lower his sight to dodge them. It was crucial to watch for any slight movements of the gun to predict the bullet trajectory. One man attempted that strategy but collapsed due to a head wound, prompting Sang to ask the examiner to escort him to the infirmary immediately. Kim realized that many were being disqualified from the strength test, explaining the low pass rate. However, he also thought that making the test challenging was reasonable. Shortly after, Ji-young was disqualified as well. Sang questioned the capability of that round of hunters, stating that it was nothing compared to the advancement exams scheduled for the next room. He wondered how they expected to advance with such performance. Next, Sang called Yunzeo, who skillfully dodged numerous shots, demonstrating what they all needed to do. Yunzeo lasted 1 minute inside and then came outside. She just stared at Kim, leading others to wonder if they were dating. Kim wondered what that was about and what she wanted. Sang then asked Kim to step forward. As he hesitantly agreed, Yunzeo continued to stare at him, making him uncomfortable. He wondered if she wanted him to compliment her on her perfect shots, thinking she should ask her family for that kind of praise at home. Determined, he moved to the area where the bullets were aimed at him, wanting to show the difference in their skills. As a barrage of bullets shot towards him, shocking onlookers, Kim dodged them with ease, moving forward in a teasing manner, as if mocking Yunzeo's abilities. As the timer reached 1 minute and 10 seconds, Sang instructed to stop firing, acknowledging Kim's perfect score in the agility test. Next, Sang led the hunters in front of a dungeon gate, indicating that it was time for the stamina stat test, appreciating their performance in the agility test. The stamina test seemed straightforward. They had to enter the dungeon and march inside an empty transforming dungeon within a time limit of 40 minutes. Using the walkie-talkie, Sang received news that all the hunters had entered the dungeon. Their task was to get their hands stamped by the examiner at the turning point and return before the time ran out. The only uncertainty was the distance to the turning point, as they hadn't been informed of how long they had to keep marching. Kim wondered if they were bunching up since they started, as everyone was being overly cautious, which felt stifling. He contemplated whether it would be troublesome to run ahead. However, he was interrupted when Yunzeo bumped into him again, leaving him puzzled. Then, without hesitation, Yunzeo started running ahead, leading Kim to realize that she was challenging him. Yunzeo sprinted ahead, surprising everyone as she surpassed them all. When she glanced back, she saw Kim running beside her and commented that there wasn't much to it. She asked what he said, and he replied that he was just talking to himself and that it couldn't be helped. Then he surged ahead of her, catching her off guard. As they ran, Yunzeo was reminded of a past incident when she entered the girls' living area. Some girls approached her, mentioning that Yunzeo had a meeting with the battalion commander as soon as she arrived at the training center. They discussed the rumors about Yunzeo being the daughter of a general and the recruit with high stats that everyone was talking about. Yunzeo felt shy as they commented on her demeanor and asked her to take care of them. One girl expressed jealousy toward Yunzeo, assuming her military life would be easier due to her background. Another girl believed that Yunzeo would act arrogantly because of her status but found her to be different. Despite not knowing much, they were convinced that Yunzeo would be the top recruit in their enlistment year. During this time, Yunzeo also thought about Kim, who had broken the red crystal. The scene shifts to a competition where the white team emerges victorious, with Yunzeo holding the blue flag in her hand. The instructor announces that the blue team's flag has been captured by the white team, setting a record time of 3 minutes and 30 seconds. He instructs the white team to take a 10-minute break while calling the blue team to gather in front of him. He commends them for setting a record in the training center and advises them to relax and rest. While resting, one girl mentions that they didn't do much to achieve the record. Another girl attributes their success to teamwork and asks everyone to applaud for Yunzeo. The scene then shifts to the living room where the girls were sitting and going about their activities. An angry girl bursts in and informs them that the record they set earlier was broken during the afternoon training session. She expresses disbelief at the new record of 1 minute and 20 seconds, questioning how it could be possible. Another girl wonders who could have set such a record, and the first girl reveals that it was Kim from the 4th platoon who achieved it alone. Yuno thought that it was indeed the same boy they were talking about. The girls discussed Kim's near-perfect score in shooting ice bullets and how he set a new record for the training center. During training with heavy bags, another girl mentioned hearing that Kim could run twice as fast without taking any breaks. Later that night, the same girl continued talking about Kim, mentioning how he caught a hound the size of an elephant. Yuno asked her to quiet down and sleep, but the girl persisted in praising Kim's abilities. Yuno reminisced about her past when she was small, and her father would comfort her before going on duty. She thought about how she wanted to be as strong as her father. The scene then shifted to the battalion commander's room, where the commander commended Yuno for her training over the past 4 weeks. He explained that he called her there to discuss with his former superior's daughter, who turned out to be Yuno herself. Yuno thanked him for the consideration. The commander asked if she had decided where she wanted to apply yet, noting that with her exceptional grades, she could be dispatched to any division she desired. He mentioned the 107th Division, where the general's son was, and Yuno replied that she wanted to be sent to the same division as Kim, referring to the recruit she had mentioned earlier. Hi guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy the content.